Welcome, culinary students. At this point in time, you guys should be finishing up on your live cooking show from home assignment project. And I figured it's something I wanted to share with you and how I would do it. Mine may be more educational, won't be as humorous, but I'll try to throw in some humor and some personal things that relate to the recipe I'm going to make for you guys today. Today I'm going to make something called surprise cupcakes. If you're not familiar with that, it's a chocolate cupcake and there's a surprise in the middle, which is cream cheese and chocolate chips and vanilla and things like that. This is a childhood recipe that my mom used to make all the time as kids, and now I make it for her. And so I'm making some so I could send some to her over in Arizona so she can have this treat of us growing up. And keep on promising her I'm going to do it. So I figured, what better time than now to share this recipe with you guys and how to do it. I found this, actually, I was trying to find my original recipe, and for the life of me I couldn't find it. I went on allrecipes.com, found it, and so I think it's pretty close to the one that I did as a kid. So I have already pre-measured everything for the most part. Behind me I have all my mise en place here on the table. So I'm going to make the dry ingredients first, which is flour, sugar, cocoa, salt, and baking soda. And then I'm going to make some of the wet ingredients, which is oil, vinegar, some vanilla, and some water. Mix those together, and then I'll make the filling, which is sugar, egg, cream cheese, and chocolate chips. Pretty simple recipe to make, so let's get going. And so you can see here, this is a bowl that I actually got last year on a little tour around our city where we're doing garage sales around the neighborhood, and they had this for sale for like really dirt cheap, and I have never used it yet, so this is my opportunity to finally use my bowls. And my mama's color, this is actually for her as well. She loves the color red. Everything in her house is red, so I figured this is a tribute to her. So, thank you, Mama. Okay, so here we go. So right now I've already pre-measured everything. So in the bowl here, I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and then I'm going to add 2 cups of granulated sugar. Throw that in here. And then I'm going to have a half a cup of unsweetened cocoa. So if you're not sure what that is, you can go and get the Hershey's unsweetened cocoa like so. And we're going to throw that in there. Okay. And next we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. So we're just going to use the regular Morton sea salt. 1 teaspoon. Salt, and then we need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Make sure you don't get baking powder. You want to make sure you get the baking soda. They are different. So in this case, we're going to use this. And also make sure that you see the expiration date. This will expire. After you open it, you can put this in the fridge, and it actually keeps the smells out of your fridge. So it serves multiple purposes, but also for baking. We'll do one more. Always make sure, remember, this is a science, baking. Make sure you measure exactly, it's real important. Otherwise it will not rise or will not brown properly and things like that. So let's move our ingredients out of the way. And then at that point, we're just to mix these together. Also, behind me, I've already preheated the oven to 350 degrees. So we're all ready to go. So here, I'm just going to take a standard whisk, put this over, and we're just going to blend them together. It's real easy to use a whisk when you have dry ingredients like this. It doesn't get stuck. You start dealing with wet ingredients and it can get a little bit tough to keep these two. It just gets stuck in the metal and stuff like that. So this is a happy Easter Sunday, by the way. I was originally going to make a different recipe for you guys. I was going to make breakfast. In fact, I was going to make something called apple cheese pancakes. It's a recipe I have had since I was just learning how to cook, probably your age for the most part, from my mom's cookbook, or stepmom's cookbook, I should say. And so decided to pass on that. And next week, if I have time, I'm going to make a Mexican feast, and I will record that, put that up, give you another example. And I'm going to edit these things, so I'm new to the editing on video, so I will do my best. I've already seen a bunch of the videos that you guys have posted for this assignment, and I have to say, I am very impressed. Very humorous, very educational, so you guys have done a really good job so far. Okay, so there you go. That's the dry ingredients. Now, what we're going to do, let's go on to the next one. And we're going to now stir in the oil, water, vinegar, and vanilla. So we need 2/3 a cup of oil. So let me go get that. Okay. Make sure we got it. This is just standard vegetable oil. Don't use anything like olive oil or anything like that. Use something that's, kind of a, just not so strong, kind of neutral flavor like this. You could use canola oil if that's all you have, but for things like this is usually the best thing to do. Okay. Then we're going to stir in, let's see here, the water, 2 cups of water. So I already pre-measured my water. Okay. And then we get our vinegar and vanilla out. And so the vinegar is 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Okay. Let's see. One. And when you're measuring things like that, try to do them directly over the bowl. So you don't want to just measure it over the countertop and then drag it. Chances are you're going to spill it. So just to save the mess and make sure you have the accurate measure. And then the next thing we're going to do is the 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now we're just going to mix this really well. I'm going to use a wooden spoon to do this because, again, the whisk, this kind of stuff will get stuck in the middle of the whisk, and so it's always best to start with a wooden spoon. If you want to finish it with the whisk, that's fine. But this is just going to, it just takes a few minutes. You just want to make sure that you get all the flour completely incorporated. So this is just chocolate cupcakes is what we're making here. Pretty standard. Now, vinegar is not really a standard thing that you see all the time in sweets like this, but in some cases it does help. So let's see here. And you want to make sure that you don't see any flour left at all. Practicing with my video editing later once I put these together, and we'll see. So CapCut is one you could use. Canva, I noticed a lot of the students have been playing with some video editing on theirs that they turned in already. Pretty impressive so far. Okay, so here we go. There's the batter. So this is the chocolate batter. Next, now what we want to do, we're going to get the next bowl out. Again, this came in a set, so it's got some, cool little dots in there. Pretty cool. So, what do we need next? We're going to bring out the next ingredients. So this is going to be the cupcake, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make the filling. So let's make the filling right now. Okay, so to make the filling, beat together the cream cheese. Okay, so it's 1 8-ounce container of Philadelphia cream cheese, already pre-measured. So this is what I use. Leave it out at room temperature so that it does get a little bit softer. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to mix it. But if you didn't do that, you can put it in the microwave for like 20 seconds, and that will soften it up a lot. Okay. So here's the cream cheese. I kind of softened it a tiny bit. All right. Then we're going to beat together that and the egg. One egg. And my suggestion is don't crack the egg over the dish until you get really well versed in cracking eggs. You don't want to get any shells in the thing that you're making. And we're just going to beat the egg real quickly. Just a light mixing of the egg. Okay, and then we're going to take, let's see, cream cheese, egg, half a cup of sugar, already pre-measured. Put that in there. And then we're going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so let's get our salt back. And we're going to get 1/4 teaspoon. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And now I'm just going to mix these together. So it says, stir in all these ingredients and make it until light and fluffy, and then stir in the chocolate chips. So, and I want to show you, if you use the whisk, this is what I was talking about. So you can see it kind of gets stuck in the whisk. So it's a little bit difficult to do. Keep on hitting it. So one trick, if you do this, again, I'm just showing you, for example, on what would happen to do. You can take a knife and you can get it out of there like that. As you can see, it's probably not the recommended way, but I just wanted to show you what could happen if you were to go and do this. So now you're like worried that you're going to miss some of the filling here, and you do. So this is really a tough thing to do. So what we're going to do instead, use my spatula. You could use a wooden spoon, you could really use whatever you want, but the good thing about the flat edge spatula is you can scrape the sides down. Make sure when you're done, you can get all the stuff out of the bowl. Okay. And you can kind of press if there's any cream cheese that didn't melt completely. Okay. Okay. Looking good. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to stir in the chocolate chips, but it still needs a little bit more. I probably didn't microwave it long enough to get it soft enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another wooden spoon. I'm just going to do a little bit like this. I'm going to kind of press the cream cheese against the side that did not mix thoroughly. Again, if you don't, it would work fine. So I've been making this since I was your age. So this is like a long-time family recipe. Okay, now we're going to add in the chocolate chips. So I've got two kinds of chocolate chips that I'm going to use today. I got some larger ones, which are dark chocolate chips, which are just Nestle Toll House dark chocolate chips. And then I also had some that are semi-sweet chocolate, or little mini chocolate chips, really tiny. So I want to put in all chocolate chips. Now it asks for a cup of chocolate chips. I like mine really chocolatey, so I end up putting maybe like a cup and a quarter, cup and a half in there. Because when it melts, it's going to be, this is why I call it surprise cupcakes. You bite into the cupcake, and there's a big surprise of all this stuff in the middle of it. And there you go. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of these chocolate chips, these little ones, and I'm going to put some of those in there too, just to add another little flavor. This is the semi-sweet chocolate, so it's going to be very, very chocolatey, to say the least. Okay. is the next thing that we need to do? Next thing is we're going to take the batter and we're going to put the batter into a muffin tin. Now I've already put in some parchment paper liners. I always recommend those. It's easy to clean up, it's easy to pull them out. If you don't put enough sprays into the cupcake holders, it can stick to the pan. It's kind of a mess to clean up after. So what I'm going to do now, let's make sure that everything's mixed really thoroughly. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the chocolate and we're going to put that into the cupcake pans. But before we even do that, we need to spray them. So let's move this out of the way. Okay. And we've got some spray here. I'm just going to use some avocado oil spray. You can use canola oil or whatever you want. Trick is not to do it too much. You want to make sure it's very light. Just real light. You don't want it to be too greasy. Okay. And now, what we're going to do is we're going to use get a measuring cup. And I'm just going to scoop this into the cupcakes. Okay. And I have a cup one that's probably a little bigger than I needed. So I'm going to get a smaller one. So I'm going to go for half. And you want to fill them about 3/4 of the way full. You don't need to put too much in there. Like I said, the filling is going to go into the center and it's going to fill up the rest of the quarter of the cupcake. So let me just do this. And this is where I'm going to have to play with all the editing tools that I told you guys about that you can potentially use. One thing I'm noticing is a lot of the students have turned this in already have like if they're doing this kind of thing and they're just kind of plating or putting things into a muffin tin or whatever it may be, they speed up the process of the video. And I think that's part of the post-production process of the video taking, from what I understand. Like I said, I'm kind of new to the video editing, and I'm going to do my best here. We will see. So what I'm going to do after I'm done, I'll edit as much as I can, and then I'm going to put the video, hopefully edited together, into my Google Drive. And then once it goes into Google Drive, what I'm going to do is upload it into my Google site, which is a Google website that you guys all have access to use. I was kind of mentioning that in class, that you can go and just make a simple site and attach it. You could go and create your own YouTube channel, or if you have other methods that you're aware of, you could do that, whatever you find is the best thing to do. Or if you just want to create the video on your phone and then share that video. It may be a little too large to share into the Google Classroom, but you can try. So, but we will see. So like I said, this is kind of a learning experience for myself as well. Okay. There we go. Now, here's what we're going to do next. So, here is the cupcakes. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cream cheese mixture. Let's bring that back out. And let's go and put this into the cupcakes. So I'm just going to use a standard little teaspoon, measuring spoon. And we're just going to put it right in the center. You want to put a little, you can put a lot. And this is what the surprise is going to be. The funny thing is when I lost the original recipe of this, it's like, oh, I don't know. I went to my mom and she didn't have it still, or couldn't find it. And so I was like, well, let me look around. And I just typed in surprise cupcakes. And lo and behold, it didn't find it in Food Network, but it did find it on All Recipes. So my guess is maybe this was not her original recipe, or maybe it was, and somebody found hers, or something like that. But this is the fun about cooking. You know, I didn't really cook with my mom. In fact, I love my mother the world, but she was raising 3 boys, and it was quite tough, and she had 2 jobs, and so didn't really have a lot of time to cook. It wasn't really her passion, but she did good, and she taught me some basic stuff back then, although I was not really interested in cooking back at that age at all. I didn't really learn my passion for this until I got a little bit older. I started learning about it when I was your age, and then once I got to college, I was eating dorm food, and I was thinking, there's got to be better food out here. And then I got a job at U.S. Food Service, which is a huge food service distributor, and I was going around to restaurants all the time and installing computer systems into restaurants, and I learned from the chefs that I talked to at these restaurants, well, that's good food. I want to have that kind of how I get it. Didn't make a lot of money back then, but I did realize that if I learned how to cook it, I can eat it. And so that was kind of my way of learning to cook. And all self-taught. Never went to professional chef school, but I was enough to be able to learn the skills. So what I taught you guys in this class, and hopefully benefited from by this, is that you've learned how to read a recipe and you can make it your own. At least follow the directions, assuming you have all the things at home, food, the tools, and so forth, and the time. There we go. These are surprise cupcakes. Pretty easy thing to make. And I will be posting this onto the classroom so you guys can look at it. And I have pictures I found online and so forth, so I'll be doing a little bit more of that. So let me put these into the oven now. Let me move this around. So we're going to cook this for, let's see, it says 25 minutes. So I'm a believer when you're baking is don't try to cook it more than what it says. In fact, I always believe try to do it under the amount of time, because you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So I'm gonna put them in for about 22 minutes. I'm gonna check on it, and then I'll come back. We'll see how they're doing, and let's look at the final result. And then I will make my second round of the cupcakes, since this makes about 2 dozen cupcakes. So on that note, let me just throw these in the oven first. And then, oops, got something in the oven right now, so give me a second. Get my fancy kitchen oven mitts. Set it for 22 minutes. Okay, so always time. Try not, as I've mentioned to you guys in class, you don't want to well, how much time do you have left to be able to cook something in the oven? And you always answer, you don't want to say, well, I'm not sure. Always make sure you time it, because you could get distracted. You never know. You could be pulled away with a family or something like that, and you don't want to burn your food or such. So let's wait for this to finish, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, welcome back to my kitchen. Happy Sunday, everybody. On a rainy, gloomy day, but I have to say I love this kind of weather. So, but happy Easter to anybody that is celebrating today. And first batch of cupcakes came out of the oven, and I realized that I have not made this recipe in a very long time. I don't even know how many years it's been, but I had kind of forgotten one step here. And so when you do this, you want to make sure you don't overfill the chocolate into the cupcake liner. And then you put the cream cheese filling in the middle and push it down with like a fork or a spoon or something like that, so that it goes directly all the way through the middle of the cupcake. So that's the surprise. And I forgot to do that. So again, we all make mistakes, and it's been a while since I've done these, so it happens. But anyway, so this is what they look like, and they were okay. I have to say they weren't my favorite and my best ones I've made, but I had more batter left, and so I decided to try to fix it. And this is what you do in culinary. So I filled them up, not all the way, and then I put the cream cheese filling in the middle of it, and I took a spoon and pushed them down to be filling up the whole inside of the cupcake. These only has the cream cheese on the top. And so don't think it worked as well, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these in, and we're gonna bake them. And as soon as I come back, we'll look and see the difference between the two. And hopefully these are a little bit better. But anyway, so I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Thanks. Okay, welcome back. So, the other cupcakes have finally finished, and I think they turned out a little bit better. Although I will admit, they don't taste like the kinds that me and my mama would make together when I was growing up. Again, I couldn't find the original recipe that I had printed out, and I don't know where it is, so I went and found it online, allrecipes.com, and it didn't look exactly the same. So the cupcake was a little moister than the ones I had, and I don't know, it was still good. It's just not what it was then, so maybe I remember it differently. Don't know. But here is the cupcakes. So you can see there, they look pretty good. And I'll show you a little bit of a close-up picture. There you go. And then I did a final plating of it. So I cut it in half so you can kind of get a sense of what it looks like. And I don't know, let's try it. Let's see how it is. It's pretty good. I have to say it's a little drier than I remember it. Used to be a little bit moister, and I did use one other thing that, I did something that I had not done this last batch, which was, so the cream cheese frosting, I tried to push it down a little bit more. And it still didn't go down a lot, but it did a little bit. So again, maybe I'm just remembering wrong on how I did this recipe forever back, but anyways, this is Surprise Cupcakes from my mama, who lives in Arizona right now. And so, Mama, this is for you. Thinking about you all the time. And anyway, so I'm going to be doing some more cooking videos and posting them and showing you guys how to do cooking shows. Probably this next weekend, maybe during the week, I'm going to make a Mexican feast. I'm going to make elote, which is corn. I'm going to make hongos, which is mushrooms, in kind of a gravy sauce. And if I have time, I'm going to make some shrimp and fish tostadas and tacos. So I know I love my Mexican food. I know you guys do too. Cooked quite a bit of it in class, but so this would be my version of that. So probably gonna have to wait. So I'm gonna go and edit my video and hopefully be sharing this with you guys soon. Hope you had a really great spring break, and we'll see you in class.